And welcome to this week's episode of the Overflow Podcast. We are so glad that you are here with us this week as always. My name is Joaquin.
I'm Jay.
And that's Jay. And this is the Overflow Podcast. And you can find us at theoverflowpodcast.com, Apple iTunes, Google.
Everywhere.
Stitcher, Google Podcast.
Everywhere you listen to
Castbox,
podcasts, we are
Juno,
there.
Pippa, all that stuff. Pippa Longstocking. But we are back. A lot of stuff's been happening. A lot of stuff going on. Jay's got a lot of stuff to share with us this week. He was this past weekend. He went back home. Went to his home. Well, he went back home to the area. He didn't go all the way back home.
I didn't. He
didn't go all the way back home. He should have got all the way back home. It got a certain ring, but we're just gonna leave it at that.
You're so dumb.
But
I wanted to. I might have to go. I might have to make a point of going back. Well, I might have to go back for other reasons that I can't speak about.
Right
on the podcast.
Oh,
but
okay.
I told you about already. But
sure. Yes.
But yeah, I couldn't even go like see family or anything. I was like busy the entire time working.
Right, in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little jealous because, you know, as part of my love-hate relationship with New York. But
you like I thought about it, right? Because I spoke to Laura. I couldn't even get to see
about my love-hate
I
relationship.
couldn't
with
even
New York?
get to see her. No, about you not being up there with me this time. And
Laura would have showed up if I was up there.
And no, because the baby's sick. So, and I'm like, and she was like, oh, but you know, what she calls you. And I was like, and I'm like, yeah, but like I'm working.
Right.
Like I'm working. So, and then
if I'd been up there, I would have been working.
Right, exactly. But that's my thing, right? So like since the baby was sick, so Laura didn't go out or do anything, right? So it's like what would you have been doing or like hanging out with? Because like I was in meetings, and then like the concert, of course, you're gonna be there, right? But if not, like the next day meetings.
I know people. I got peoples in New York. I got peoples in New York.
Okay.
I would have called Richard.
Word.
I'd have been like, "Yo, Richard," and he's in Brooklyn, right? No, he's in.
I think so. I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
I think he's in Brooklyn. I would have called. I could have reached out to
Not Andre,
but
not Andre, because Andre was also Andre.
Homegirl.
He didn't even come to the meeting.
Jati.
He didn't even come to the concert because he was also in meetings.
Could have reached out Jati.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Hey man, I could have called our boy up at Hillsong.
Yeah, he probably would have responded to you.
Oh, I'd have been like, listen, man.
Yeah, but it was.
I could have talked to the homeless guy on the corner. I got peoples.
It was busy, but it was great.
Right. I could have called Joe.
Yeah, you could have. You would have seen his new place. Like I didn't even have the time to see his new place.
I would have been running around New York. That would have been like on the news. Guy running around New York. He keeps standing in every corner. You ask him where Brooklyn at. He's lost. Well, that's cool. Yeah, for me the weekend, like your weekend was all exciting. Mine was, I was just chilling at the folks' house. They went to Florida for the week to go visit, to go see grandma.
Right.
And so I'm at the house. I gotta head back. I gotta head back Wednesday because Mom's wanted me to stay the whole week because she's paranoid because they're working on finishing up their basement. And but I had today the podcast. I got something tomorrow, so I'll probably head back Wednesday. But I will say this: it was nice because Mom's was like, "Hey, you can raid the fridge, raid the freezer. I got steaks and sausages and pork chops and burgers." I pull some of the steaks out, whatever, and the burgers because those are very keto friendly.
Right.
fired up pop smoker. Oh, it's so good. Because they got their smoker right there by the kitchen. So I was just grilling all weekend.
Nice.
You know, grilling all by myself. I'm gonna be. But so that was pretty much it. Now the cool thing this weekend too, our friend Alejandro was
beautiful flag.
Yes. Our friend Alejandro was given is gonna be the pastor of the New Influencers Espanol here in Atlanta. So that was cool. Went up, I was up there at Influencers on Sunday to support him when they
so dope.
Pastor made the announcement.
Yeah, you sent me that picture, man. I was so proud.
What's funny is that so when I saw him Sunday morning, I was like, Pastor, and he just looked at me like, and every time I saw his wife, Laura, Pastora, she was like, shut up. Don't call me that. So, I'm going to have fun with that for
a very long
time. And, now, the only other thing for me this week was today I went to go see the fat doctor. And that's the doctor I've been seeing for my weight loss. And
I thought he was like a fat.
And I always say he's a fat. Nah,
doctor.
Man, he's PHAT. He's fat. Anyway, well, he used to be fat actually. But anyway, I digress. He was telling me how him and this doctor out of Duke University who he studied under are putting together. They've putting together. They're in the process of getting things finalized. Something along those lines. A keto conference here in Atlanta in February. And so he was telling me how he wanted, they wanted to have success stories, share their stories at the conference. So he asked me if, he goes, if it's something that you'd be interested, I'll get you the information.
And where's it going to be?
It's going to be here in Atlanta.
Oh, damn.
I know, right? Well, no, because if it was anywhere else, he'd probably be like, "Oh, we want people to share their stories. I mean, you got to pay your way, but we want you to share your story." I was like, "Come on!"
You're gonna share your story. They gotta fly you over,
or give me a dozen donuts, right? Some tip top donuts. But yeah, man, that's it, man. We got this, kind of get this thing going back up and.
All right, so I want to make
what's going on.
I want to make a special shout out
to
2
new subscribers.
Ooh.
To the Overflow Podcast.
Ooh.
Are
they people you met in New York?
Yeah, people I met in New York.
Do they know what they got? Do they know what they've got themselves into?
One of them is in New York, and I just met the other guy in New York because he's from here. But Sam, who came up to support James in a marathon, and we'll get into that in a few.
Does he like green eggs and ham?
He subscribed. He's in. He's good. Overflow Podcast. And then
what's up, Sam?
To the girl that I'm now calling Chinita.
Oh, Chinita. I don't even know.
Jean.
Ooh.
She also subscribed to the podcast while I was,
right.
She showed me, is this it? I said, yep, that's it.
That's it.
And she subscribed.
Now, they subscribe. So we want to give shout outs to the new subscriptions.
Subscribers.
Not necessarily listeners, but the new subscribers. If you're listening, let us know. If you're not listening, then don't let us know.
Hey, whatever. The numbers are there. We got a lot of subscribers.
Figure that one out.
No, but they'll listen. They better listen. They'll listen. But yeah, it was just dope. Oh yeah, I'm part of a podcast, blah blah blah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm always looking for podcasts. Right? So
that's what's up.
It was cool. I mean,
yeah.
Regardless of anything, they didn't have to do it. Especially Chinita.
We appreciate and made it. Thank you.
Because she just met me on Friday.
On Friday.
And
was
it Friday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday. And it was Saturday. And I was like roasting her the entire time.
Maybe it was good I wasn't there then.
Just roasting her the entire time. So, but she's cool peeps. She's a fellow designer. She's a fellow believer. Right? I was able to finally meet Sean, who I met through Dre. Like, she worked with Dre. back in the day, and we used to work together on a lot of projects,
Right.
but like all through email and whatever. So we never like actually met face to face.
Face to face.
So
cara tu cara.
that finally happened, and it was dope. It was dope.
Okay, that's what's
It
up.
was almost like, it's funny, right? Because all this interaction through email and doing business and all this stuff together, that when we finally met, it wasn't even like, oh, it's nice to meet you. It was like, yo,
Right.
what's up?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Long time no
But
right.
but what he's not telling you is that they just texted each other because that's how they were only used to communicating.
Nope.
Was through messages.
No, actually, we didn't have each other's phone numbers until now. It was all email. So funny story. Ready?
So they text back to back and just emailed
Each other. So funny story. So she had us meet at this cafe called Round K Cafe, right? I think it was Round K. Yeah, it was Round K. And this place is known for
hipsters.
No, it's known for a coffee that they call matte black coffee. Right? Matte black coffee. It looks like blended or like liquid charcoal. It's super black. Like, you know how if you pour something dark over ice cubes, you can still see the ice cubes, right? Like it'll run over the ice cube and you see the ice cubes floating around in it,
Right.
but it's still see that. Like the ice cubes were also just like covered in like just this black coffee. So they give it to you with a straw, of course, because if not, then your teeth, your tongue, your mouth, everything, everything just turns like black.
Oh man.
So Chinita ordered it without realizing what it was. All she paid attention to, I'm guessing, because she didn't really say why, but all she ordered it, and I'm thinking that she just saw iced black coffee. And she was like, oh, and I'm like, and I show her the picture, that's what you ordered. Like they showed a picture of somebody with their teeth all black or whatever. She was like, no, is that what I ordered? That is what I ordered. Oh my God, is that what happened to me? So when they bring her coffee, I'm such a jerk. When they bring her coffee, I go and I slide the straw away.
You throw it away?
I took it. I just took it away.
Right.
I took the straw away. And and she was like, oh, is that what's going to happen? What's going to happen? It's like, wasn't there a straw? Did you take the straw? I don't know what you're talking about.
Did she drink it without the straw?
She drank it without the straw.
Did her teeth get all black? Was the coffee good, though?
The coffee was good because I put the straw in it and I tried it.
How do they make it?
I don't know how they make it. Sean said that before they would add charcoal to it until like the FDA said, hey, stop using charcoal. It's going to kill you. Yeah. But I don't know how they make it. Like, I really don't know how they make it. I just know.
Matt? No, I'll look it up. You keep going.
No, I'll show it to you because I got video of her trying it. Matte black coffee. Or matte black. Matte black coffee. Matte le black.
There it is. I found it.
It was.
Holy cow.
You see how dark it is?
That is black.
But like when I tried it,
I misspelled Matt, but that's okay.
It was actually like it actually tasted good.
But it's I mean, that looks real. It looks like almost like creamy, like it doesn't look like like you would pour.
Yeah, well they
like
pour.
you know what I'm saying, like regular coffee. It looks thick, like a milkshake.
Yeah, it wasn't thick like a milkshake. It was like coffee. It's just coffee.
Wow.
I don't know what they did or how they did it, but yeah, she drank some.
So
she drank some, and then like her top lip, she had like a deep like Latino black mustache.
Right.
Her teeth were black. Her tongue was black. Oh, it was hilarious.
Holy cow, that's crazy. Like I want to drink some of it, and I want to drink it without the straw.
No, when we go back, you got to go.
Because I want to walk around like smiling with the black teeth, like how you doing? They'll be like, there's the crazy homeless guy.
That's good. They'll give you money.
They'll give you money. Throw money at me. Leave me alone. Gee, thanks. Gee Willikers.
Dude, it was cool. And then, like I told you, we went to the pizzeria where they filmed
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Whichever one it was that he was delivering
2?
pizzas.
I think it was 2.
Right? And so it's called Joe's Pizza. So the funny thing is that it's standing room only except for like a bench outside in front of a window. So the window was open from the inside. So
right.
James is a guy, he's a youth pastor here in Georgia, in Atlanta.
Shout out to the youth pastor.
And
is he one of the new followers? He's not.
No, he's one of the old followers. Like he's been following us for a while.
Right. Hey James.
And he's also the founder and president of the Atlanta Run Club. So like running.
Oh, that's the guy you were telling me about.
Running isn't like.
It's not something I'm interested in.
Oh no, me either. But
I'll run to like a rack of ribs. Right, but I will not.
And then
run.
So the thing is, like, from the jump, right? James hit me up about going to New York,
right,
with him because he was going to run in the marathon. And it just so happened that the marathon fell on the same weekend
that you were planning on going.
That I was already planning on going up there, so it all worked out. So when he had a carb load for the marathon, we go to Joe's Pizza.
Okay.
And
I heard a car load.
So we're sitting outside, right? We're sitting outside eating our pizza,
right?
But we're in front of the window. All right, it's not a takeout window. It's just a window.
Just a window.
And then this group of people, they are inside and in front of the window with their pizzas, and they're putting the garlic and the Parmesan cheese on it or whatever. And then the girl,
oregano,
the one of the girls starts like talking crap to us. All right, so it's like, hey, what are you doing? Stop staring at me. So what? I'm adding extra cheese to my cheese pizza. It's none of your business. Right? What? What do you want to do? What do you like? And James looks at me, and I'm like, we look at each other like, is this chick crazy? Right?
Right.
And then I'm like, I turn around, and I look dead at her. I was like, this window is open, right? And then she just like, all of them. Oh, there were like 6 of them. They all got like shook.
Like the record.
Right? Like they all froze. Right? And then she reached out and she touched the screen. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. We weren't trying to start any trouble. I didn't know it was open. I didn't know it was open. I was just like trying to be funny to my friends with my friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, it's okay. Like we get it. You're hungry. People get pretty delirious when they're hungry. It's like it's all good."
Was the pizza good?
The pizza was actually pretty good.
I mean, it's pizza.
Pizza was actually pretty good. No, because we went to this other place called Champion Pizza.
That wasn't a Champion?
And it was all Sicilian.
Ooh.
But it was not good. It was like thin Sicilian. And then it was crunchy.
Well, I like crunchy pizza.
Right? It wasn't good.
Yeah. Of course, my pizza threshold is pretty low though. I mean, as long as it's not burnt and tastes like dirt, I'm good. I mean,
yeah, the Champion Pizza was not a Champion.
Oh well, poor Champion Pizza. I remember one time when I was up there, I was in the city. We had this little pizza place by Nyack, and it was like, what was it? It was like $2, and it was like $2. It was like 2 slices and a soda for like $2.
Wow.
Or something like that. I was just like, this is amazing. Of course, I was at 350 something pounds at that time, so of course, it was amazing. It would still be amazing now.
It was dope. He did his thing. He ran that marathon,
which is what he went up there to do.
Right, but I'm saying, he didn't quit. He actually came. He ran a marathon here in Georgia, up in North Georgia, in Helen. Couple years ago.
Oh, it's all hills.
Yes, that's what he said. It was like, it sucked.
I mean, if you've ever driven to Helen, Georgia, it's all mountains. It's all just up
but
and down.
Then he made it. He ran the New York City Marathon an hour and a half faster than he ran this one. But he also finished a half hour earlier than the estimated time that the app figured out that he would, because the bibs the number bibs,
right?
They have trackers in them.
Okay.
Right? In case they collapse, so you got to go. You got to go and find them and and get them.
They'll be like, "Where's Joaquin?" Oh, wait a minute. His quit moving. You probably just. I found the $2 pizza.
So after the marathon, he was like, I was like, all right, let's go eat. And he was like, yeah, I need to eat. So what do? We go for more pizza.
It's one of those things where, like, you go you go to New York. It's like the thing, right? You got to get some pizza. You got to go maybe do some bagels in the morning.
Yes, which we did.
Right, you got to hit up a diner, get some of the like the challah bread,
right, the
French toast, right? If you can, I mean, for me, right? If you can, you got to get some kind of street food off of a street cart somewhere, whether it's a dog, whether it's some of that like
so we got some we got some shish kebabs,
the kebabs or the meats or whatever, right? Because that's just the way it is.
It was funny. We got some shish kebabs on Friday night before the concert.
Right.
And we had to sneak them in because like staff was like, oh, there's no food inside. And I'm like, but it's for the artist. RG asked for shish kebabs. And I'm thinking because that he remembered from the last time when we all went.
We came back like 10 years
3
ago.
o'clock in the morning, we got shish kebabs. So
shish kebabs are any time of the day.
So
basically any of that food is any time of the day.
So we sneak them in, right? I swear, like, the security was so lax. I was like, oh, put the bag on the table and open it up so we could check it. Like, dude, and I take that back because I think it was because of my all access pass badge that he was just like, all right, just let me through. But like we snuck them in, and it's funny. Like I give the shish kebabs to RG, and Lecrae was like, "What is that? Boy, you eating street meat?"
Darn tootin'.
And it's delicious.
Yo, the couple times I went to Nicaragua when I went with Vineyard, like that was my thing, man. I walk around, I just walk around like, there'd be somebody selling some kind of meat,
something
off of a
you
grill,
know what it is,
and I'd be like, "What's that?" And then, carne. Oh, all right, what's one? Okay, I give them $1, whatever the thing was, and then my group would catch up to me. Or they would come find me because usually it was me just kind of wandering off, and I'd just be like, "I'm just eating meat off of this stick." They're like, "What's that?
What meat is it?" I don't know.
They said it's beef. It's probably horse, but it's delicious.
Yeah, that's why I told the guy, hey, put a lot of barbecue sauce on it. Yo, you want hot sauce? No, just put barbecue sauce on it.
Oh man, I love street food.
But it was
love
great.
Street food.
That's
the Chicago's the same way, right? You go to Chicago, you get the Polish dog.
You got to get the Polish dog. You got to get the deep dish.
You get the tamales. Because like
no, but for me, getting him pizza after the race, what in my mind was the fastest, the easiest and fastest thing to for replenishment, right? So it's just get 2 slices. It's got meat, it's got cheese, the bread. Right, just for that. But the funny thing is that when we sit down, so they gave him a parka, so he can warm up, and they gave him a bag with like a whole bunch of stuff. So we sit down. He finally checks the bag.
Had a coupon for pizza?
No. It had a big old protein bar,
right,
and it had like a new Gatorade like protein replenisher drink.
Yeah, that's
right?
what you want. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Stuff. But you're walking over to the pizza spot, and that's when he opens it. He's like, "Oh, I guess I should have opened the bag as soon as I got it."
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like stuff like that you want because your muscles. So you want protein to.
Yeah, so it was like so
your muscles don't need it.
Some Gatorade protein drink, and then also a Gatorade, and then a protein bar.
Yeah, that's so.
And it's funny because he ate the 2 slices. It was like loaded slices. And he ate that protein bar, and he drank that protein drink, right? And then after that, we met up with Sean again, and we went to like a dessert spot. Yo, I'm gonna tell you, yo, we stayed on Bedford, right, in Brooklyn. We stayed on Bedford Avenue, right?
Shout out to Biggie.
We did not, outside of going to the city, because we had to,
right? We never left Brooklyn.
Everywhere we ate was right on the strip. Yo, it's like I told Dre, yo,
I'm safe.
I'm staying in New Bed-Stuy. Like, it's not even. It's not old Bed-Stuy. It's it's new Bed-Stuy.
It's gentrified Bed-Stuy.
And then he texted back, man, you made Bed-Stuy sound bougie. But he picked me up today. Like, we had lunch, and he brought me to the airport.
Right. Yeah, it was bougie.
And he was like, yo, you weren't lying when you said new Bed-Stuy.
Right. So, like, it's funny, right? Because whenever you read about New York, whatever, just it seems like almost everywhere is getting gentrified except for. Like, you don't really hear the Bronx. You know. I mean, I'm sure there's pockets that are starting now to come around. But you always hear, right? You always hear, like, Brooklyn. You hear, like, Manhattan or whatever. Like, all these different pockets, right? Parts of Queens, right? It's starting, getting gentrified.
Parts of Queens, Harlem.
Harlem's definitely, had a huge renaissance and all this stuff. And then, you're like, oh, yeah, yeah. What about the Bronx? Yeah, the Bronx is still the same.
I think the only place in the Bronx is around New Yankee Stadium, and I think it's only.
And that's just because it's New Yankee Stadium,
right? I think, and I think it's focused like only directly around New Yankee Stadium. Right? Everybody else like forget about it.
It's like the Bronx. You crazy?
But it was dope. I was busy. I was in meetings all Friday. Like RG went to Tidal. I think he also went to Spotify.
Tidal is still around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? But I was in meetings at Mass Appeal. Just working, right? Just working, and then the concert, and even at the concert, I thought I was gonna be able to just chill,
right?
But it's not as much, but a little work to be done, and of course, I met up with Ray from Grateful Apparel,
right?
It's always good, like, connecting with old friends, especially old friends like Ray, who are a part of all this that I'm doing now, but from the beginning, right? So I say that not like the very beginning, like when you and I started doing events, but at the beginning when Juice and I were doing things for Creation Fest, that Ray made that happen. Because when we threw the idea at Creation Fest or whatever, like, Ray was the one that sponsored our stage to make it happen. Like, I'm not even sure they would have even said yes if not because Ray put up the money to sponsor the stage.
Right.
So, it was dope. And then seeing how much he's grown and Grateful has grown. And then just being back home, like, no lie. There's something about, okay, ready? And I know I'm a bit biased, but
no,
there's something about the energy of New York City,
right?
That, like, it's not found anywhere else,
right?
You know?
Well, right, because I mean, it's just well, that's just because that's how it is, right? You go to a city, each city kind of has its vibe. Right. And I think that, being down here, that's definitely a contrast in vibe. Right. And like, you go to New York, I mean, even for me, right. Even I'm not from New York, but even I go to New York and you kind of feel like, like, I got to pick it up. Like, I got to move, whereas, here you just kind of chill, you lay back, you just kind of flowing with it. You go to New York and even I feel a little jittery, like, oh man, I got to walk faster. I can't just, stroll. I can't stroll. I gotta speed walk a little bit or whatever.
It was like, because like even with James, though, when he went,
that's why he ran better.
When he went to Times Square for the first time, like, it was his first time in New York.
Oh, okay. Right? Wow! So he went to run the New York Marathon, first time ever in New York.
Yeah,
but it's always fun. That's fun. So y'all went to Times Square at night or during the day?
Times Square at night.
At night
and the day. Right, because it's like two different places.
Right, it is. I've been right? Night and day.
It's so funny. It's almost like two different places.
Into night. I know exactly.
Right? And even when you're there during the day and you're there as it turns into evening, you see how it changes.
Yeah,
right. Like, it transforms into a different place. So the funny thing is that we were exhausted, right? But I'm like, you want to go? We go. Right, because you have to go to Times Square.
You got to go to Times Square.
It's your first time in New York. You got to go to Times Square.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like no matter how many times you've been to New York, you got to go to Times Square just because.
Right.
I don't, it's just the thing. It's like I don't know why you got to go, but you feel like
No,
you
it's
got to
but
go.
yeah,
It's
you
Times
got it
Square.
because like
just go.
But it was dope.
Just
though,
go for people watching.
Because when we got off the train, right? I showed him. I purposely got off the train at 8th Avenue so we can walk up.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we got off the train. I showed him like little things. Blah blah blah. I told him about my Jessica Alba story at the theater. Right. It's like, of course, he's laughing at me, and I don't blame him. I laughed at myself again. And then he sees all these lights. Right. And he's like, "Oh, what's this? What place is this?" I'm like, "Oh, this is McDonald's."
Right. Like the 5-story McDonald's.
Right. Right. With all the lights and the marquee, like it was like a theater.
Yeah.
Right. And then we go into Times Square.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think I went and saw a movie at the AMC there.
Those lights energize you.
Yeah.
Like, because like I said, we were busted. And then all of a sudden it's like,
dude,
you get like,
remember
we got like a fourth
first
win.
First time I go to New York was however many 10 years ago now, I think.
Yeah.
When we went to the
we went to Times Square like at 3 in the morning.
Like 3 in the freaking morning, and we're all kind of tired. Remember, I drove almost the whole way up, and then it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, dude. Like
don't look at the Black Hebrew Israelites. Don't look at them.
We got there like at 1 in the morning, and then left like at 3.
Yeah,
like just walking around and taking pictures.
Yeah,
right. It was.
Yeah, I need to take the bus and go to New York. I need to take that bus. Me and that bus. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to be like, Laura, I'm coming up.
But yeah, it's first time in New York, and you went for the race. So.
That's dope.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. No, I'm lying. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then also, I'm sorry, I've just remembered. I'm looking at my Instagram. Shout out to Cassandra. Cassandra is a new friend I made up there who she's a amazing designer and artist, like real artist. She did all the visuals for Gavi's Panorama Tour that's going on now.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then also I shout out to the liveliest Dominican that was at the show on Friday. Right? And I'm talking about her name is Aaliyah. Yo, not only the liveliest Dominican, but also probably RG's biggest fan in New York.
Uh-oh.
Like, yo, and it's weird for me, right? Because, like, for me, RG's still that kid brother.
Right.
Right?
He's a man now, Jay.
And, yeah, he's a man now, but he's still that kid brother. Yo, when she saw, like, she was walking to her sister and her cousin, and she saw RG standing there because we were talking, like, the chick froze.
That's hilarious.
Dude, like, she froze. And, like no words were coming out of her mouth. Like, she was like...
I get that. I experienced that.
And I'm like, yo, you all right? You all right? You don't even know. No, you're right. I don't know. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Medic.
And she explained how big of a fan she was. I was like, all right, yo, come on. Let me take a picture. Give me your phone. Let me take a picture. So it was.
That's hilarious.
It was.
She's gonna be in New York talking about. I got a picture with RG. Wait, what up, RG? Who?
Actually, no, because she's in the military. So right now she went back to Texas.
So she'll be in Texas. I got a picture.
She'll be in
Texas. What up, RG? Who? Man, you ain't got to clown her like that, man. Not cool.
Where is she?
So the concert, I saw a picture. It looked like it was pretty packed out. It was like sold out.
I don't know if it was sold out, but it was packed out. Like, I don't know what the numbers were, but it was packed out. It was packed out. And it was good. There was a lot of loud people.
Like cheering?
Yeah, cheering and singing along and screaming.
Right.
And it's a lot of loud people. So for RG's set, I was on stage. I was side stage and sometimes backstage, depending on where I was taking pictures and video. And then for no big deal, I was on side stage for a little bit, but then I went out to the audience. For the rest of the concert, I was out in the audience, except for when I was in the back. Like I missed Wordplay set, not on purpose, but I was chopping it up with Ray Rock backstage.
Oh, okay.
Because
Wordplay. He looks like an old man to me.
You would just, iron sharpening iron, right? Like we were just ministering to each other. Yeah, and that's his for Wordplay. That's his shtick. That's on purpose. That's his shtick.
Yeah, but he looks like an old man. Every time I look at him, I'm like, this 50-year-old dude is doing it. Yeah, you go, boy. Yeah, boy. There's hope for us, Jay.
He's younger than the both of us. That's his shtick. It's on purpose. I'm like, you know what?
Hey, man.
I don't have to understand it all. If it works, it works.
It works. It works.
But anyway, back to the marathon, right?
All right, so you're at the marathon, you're watching people run because it's a marathon.
Because it's a marathon.
They're jogging, or they're not running, but they're not jogging.
Yo,
what are they? What's it called? They're rogging.
No idea. Yo, so the guy that won the marathon,
right,
did that thing in 2 hours.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that
he wasn't Ethiopian, was he?
Yes, he was.
Of course he was.
Of course he was. The top 5 all Ethiopian.
Those dudes,
Kenya.
Man.
Yo, but the funny thing is, when we left the apartment, he was
already finished.
He was no. He was all by himself running past us.
Yeah. Lalisa Desisa.
Yo, you're not listening to me. He was by himself.
No, I heard you.
He was
It's not impressive.
No, you're not listening. He was by himself. Like, this was a marathon with thousands of people, and we get off. We leave the building because the marathon was passing by in front, and I just see this one black guy. Right, there was nobody around, and I'm like, part of me was like, wait, did he get a head start, or did he just start running and he's like
So now when you saw him before Central Park, right?
Way before Central Park.
All right, so
I saw him in Brooklyn.
So you missed. All right, so I pulled up the New York Times article here. As this Lalisa Desisa of Ethiopia raced through Central Park in the closing miles of the New York City Marathon on Sunday, all eyes were on Jeffrey Kamworor of Kenya, the winner of last year's race, who was just ahead of him. So you missed the guy that was leading.
And I saw
and you saw the guy that eventually won. He caught up to him and passed him. But yeah.
Whoa.
Well, you know what though? When you running away from lions, I guess you build up that
stamina.
You build that stamina.
Or that speed. Yo, but it was funny
was
though because right, I'm just looking at this one. I'm with Sam, right? Because of course James is in the race. So I'm with Sam and I just see this one guy just and I'm like, and I look down the street and I see nobody.
Right.
So I joke with Sam. I'm like, yo, did he just start the race for Brooklyn?
He just jumped out of nowhere.
He ain't bothered to go to Staten Island. He parked around the corner. He jumped out of his car. He started from Brooklyn because he didn't look tired. He didn't look nothing. It was just. And then, like I said, we walked down the street. We went into Bagel Smith to get some bagels. We walked out, and then we saw and no, not even, because it wasn't even like we order bagels, we leave. Like we went, there was a line. That went around. Like think of the episode of the Soup Nazi of Seinfeld, right? So you go in the door, right? You go around, you place your order, you come, you wait. Like, it was like that. So it took a long time. Then we had to stand to the side to wait for our bagels to come because they make them right there. And I'm like, and then when we go outside, then we see like people trickling down, and then like the wave of people.
Right. And then this guy.
Meanwhile, that guy was like almost done.
Yeah, he passed the dude. He won the second. This is the second fastest time in the race's 48-year history.
Yes, he missed it by a few.
2 hours. He ran it in 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 59 seconds.
I think the other one was 2 hours, 2 minutes.
like, and then the one, let's see, finished third, catching up. Kitata, who's 22, the second place finisher. Wow! So the second place finisher, 2 hours 6 minutes 1 second. Third place, 2 minutes, 2 hours 6 minutes 26 seconds.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the fastest time, 2 hours, 5 minutes, 6 seconds.
Yeah. So he missed it by.
Subtract 6 from whatever his 59.
Yeah. So
50.
So
3 seconds.
I think like the best thing that I liked.
It's pretty awesome. It's
pretty
cool, man.
Because there's a tracker, right? And so I had the app so I can track.
You were tracking
because
them?
somebody else, another buddy of mine, well, from back in the day, who lives up in the Bronx, he was also running the marathon. So I was like, all right, so I'll track them both.
Right.
And for a long time, James was either a mile or a mile and a half behind him.
Right.
And then he passed him.
I just laughed because I was thinking, I'm running it and you're tracking me, and it's running. Also, it stops for like a good 10 minutes. Why did you? There's like this gap where you stop at 10 minutes. I need the bathroom.
Yeah, that happened. But
I'm texting you. Guess what I'm doing now?
Que te iba a decir? The best thing.
I'm a genius.
One of the best things, right, was seeing all the costumes.
Right.
I've seen all the costumes. The runners were like in makeup and costumes, whatever. Right. I saw both Batman and Superman running the marathon.
No one dresses Flash? That's kind of lame.
No one dresses Flash. No one dresses Wonder Woman. I didn't see Wonder Woman either. No, I'm not saying that they weren't there because there were like thousands of
peoples.
Right. And I wasn't out there for long. I was out there. I waited for James. I saw James, took a quick selfie, and I left. Then we left. We went back up to the house so I can take a nap because I was busted. But the second thing
naps are good
that impressed me, right, and also impressed James and Sam and whatever, was the fact that, the city came out.
Right.
The city came out to support.
Not the whole city, because that's too many millions of people.
It's too many millions. But still, like, the city came out, right, to support, to high five, to encourage, right? And
right. Well, that's like it's a New York City institution.
Yeah, it is, but
right?
But
48 years, 48 years.
But right? So while I was out there eating my bagel, drinking my coffee,
and eating my pizza bagel.
Oh my God, I wish. That sounds amazing.
Right? It's like I want a pizza bagel.
But
and everything pizza bagel.
There were people that were right. Everybody has a reason why they run, whether it's to beat a record, just bucket lists or whatever, right? But but I saw this guy, right? And it's funny because when he was running, and I wouldn't even call it running, he was like fast walking. Like the people that were cheering other people on, like they got quiet. And then like people just started clapping. Right? And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? And there was this one guy, and I described him to you before, but he looked like something out of a horror movie. And I'm not saying that to be offensive or to be insensitive, but like his face was sunken in. He had lost all his hair. He was really, really thin. And he had like a brace for his chin. And it covered his mouth, like a filter that covered his mouth. And then he had a brace for his torso.
Right.
And he had a sign stuck to him saying that he had cancer for like years, and it had just gone into remission. And he wanted to like, I guess, run the race before he died. Like, who knows when he was going to die.
Right.
And like, I'm not even sure if he made it all the way or not or whatever. But it was still impressive, right? Like it was a somber moment when he was going by. And it wasn't like, it was like everyone. Like all this screaming and yelling, high-fiving, whatever. And then this guy walks by, right? And people just stop yelling. And they all just start clapping, right? And these two women next to me were crying. Like it was like instant tears, right? Because it's not just like if you would have read that sign on somebody that looked healthier,
right,
you would probably still clap, right? Yeah. But the sight of him gave more depth, right, to his story. And dude, and it was impressive. The perseverance,
right,
the fortitude, right? It's the fact, not the fact that he wanted to do it, but the fact that he was doing it.
right.
And he had no help, because I saw other people in wheelchairs, other people in crutches, right, and things like that. But they were being helped, and somebody pushing them. I saw somebody in one of those. Oh man, I forgot what they call, like in Asia where they pull.
Or like the rickshaws.
Yeah, like a rickshaw. Thank you. I saw people in that, right? And because they had a disability or whatever, right? And or if not, then there were people that worked for the marathon that were either walking with people with disabilities or running alongside them just in case.
Right.
This guy was dolo. Like he was just running at his own pace, but he was by himself. No help, nobody around him, nothing. He was by himself. So yeah, it was impressive. It moved me. And then like everything, you find, I find a sermon in everything. Or like I say, that preaches. Right. I see that, and the thought and the words of Paul come to my mind, where he says, but I do not account my life of any value, nor as precious to itself, if only I may finish my race and the ministry that I received from the Lord Jesus to testify the gospel of the grace of God. Right? And that's what jumps in my mind. Because Paul didn't have cancer.
Right.
But Paul died. Right? Paul died and came back to life. Right? Paul was beat up countless times. He was stoned. He was beat up and dragged out of the city.
Right. Run out of town.
He was run out of town. He was just like, all these things happened to Paul. And Paul, in that verse, Paul described his ministry as a race that he was running.
Right.
And all that he was focused on was finishing his race, right? So that he can testify to the gospel of the grace of God. And it's like, I think of that. I think of this guy, right? And of course, I said a prayer for him that he would finish. And no matter how long it took, but that he would finish.
Right.
Right. And that he would have the strength to finish. And I reflected that on Paul. And I'm thinking to myself, like, like if this guy with the cancer.
Right. The cancer,
that just went into remission. So he was still in pain.
Right.
He was still in pain. He was still suffering and struggling, which is probably why he wasn't running. And he had all those braces and all that stuff on.
Well, yeah, because you're talking, obviously it didn't go into remission like the day before.
Yeah, of course not. That would be ridiculous to think so.
But, yeah, so it went into remission however many weeks back or whatever.
It had to be enough time where the doctors gave him the okay to run the race.
Right, so your body is still, it's still trying to heal.
Right.
And you just so it's gone through the stress of the chemo and all this stuff, the cancer or whatever. Now you're putting it through the stress of this, and that's impressive.
Yeah, it really was. So that verse jumps into my head, and then I remember all the stuff that Paul suffered and everything that he went through, and then of course it's soapbox time, and I'm thinking of like how many people that I speak to who who say that they don't believe in God anymore because of something trivial, like, well, I prayed that my wife wouldn't leave me, and she left me anyway. So how can there be a God? Blah, 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 whatever, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that to minimize what anybody goes through.
Right.
But, let's compare the things, right? Let's compare the things. Your faith walk, you quit because your ex-wife left you. Or you quit because you were going to that church your whole life and like nobody knew that you were struggling with something. Or you quit on God because the broken people that call themselves Christians acted like broken people.
Acted like
You know what I mean?
Well, and it's always so, and it's always. It always seems to be. Let me just say that way. It always seems to be something selfish.
Yes.
Right. I did not get something.
It's always something like me focused.
I didn't hear. I didn't get. I wasn't.
Or in this new climate, right?
Whatever.
In this new climate, you left God because of political reasons, because other believers, other people who call themselves Christians, didn't have the same political ideology as you.
Correct.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like all these things. And then you think, Paul is talking about, I have to set forth in this ministry. I got to run this race so I can testify of God's grace. Right? This dude was stoned to death. He was beat up. He was like dragged out of cities. He was, in the end, he was, what is it? He was cast out to an island. He was bitten by a snake. Like all these things happened to him. And the only thing that he was focused on was finishing the race so he can testify about God's grace. Right? You got this old guy running this marathon after his cancer. Who knows how long he's been battling that cancer. Going into remission, and he still finds the fortitude. He still finds the strength, and the energy and the power from only God knows where to run 26.2 miles, right?
And well, that's the thing, right?
And the thing is that
it doesn't even matter if he finished. It's the fact that he started.
Yes,
and he started, and he went as far as he could.
Dude, well,
right? I mean,
where we were,
from what we know,
where we were. Was the 12-mile mark. That's what it's almost half.
Right.
It's almost half the race. That's when I saw him.
Right.
So he ran at least half the race. As far as I know.
Right. And so if you want to take it a step further, like how many steps in, right? Like how many steps in before the pain got excruciating? Right? Not, I would venture. Now, we don't know. We're speculating, right?
Correct.
But my speculation is this. I bet you 10 steps in, he was already in, like, deep pain.
Right.
15 steps in.
Right.
But he kept pushing. And I think that the lesson for us there, right, is, is he had a goal, right? He says, here's the thing, right? Because this kind of reminds me of something Pastor Ashley said Sunday. And influencers. He's, a lot of people quit because they don't see themselves, right? Or they don't hold on to the fact that they're sons of God. Because when you see yourself as the son of God, when you see that you are in the family, you hang on for the inheritance. You hang on for what God has for you. Don't know when you're gonna get it, but but you know that God's promised it, so you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
But if you don't see yourself, as
an heir,
right, as a son of God, as a daughter of God, then it's easier. I might be interjecting me a little more, right? But it's easier, right, to do what? Than to give up. Well, God doesn't accomplish what he says. Well, God never said he was going to do it right away. But he does promise us that as heirs, we're going to get an inheritance, right?
Which is interesting to me, right? Because
so here's this guy who so I say that to say this, right? So this guy saw himself as a marathon runner. And so he had to finish, and he had to go as far as he could. Yeah. Even though there was pain. So then how much more if we say we're children of God, right? Then do we have to push through the pain to get as far as God has for us, so that we can get that in. So we can see that finish
especially
line,
when
that inheritance.
when we go as far as we can and do as much as we can, right, to be seen and recognized and get that extra 50 cents at work. If 50 cents, like sometimes it's just a quarter. But you still bust your butt, and so that you can be seen, so you can get that quarter and you feel accomplished, right? But you're gonna quit and not gain the inheritance that Christ gave his life for, so that you can have, right? Like it's crazy to me, right? It's a little
baffling.
Yeah, it is. And the thing the thing that gets me is that nowhere in scripture does Jesus or any of the disciples or prophets or whatever say that, okay, let's just leave it in Jesus, say that it's going to be easy. Right? Jesus actually said, I think in Matthew 5:11, when he says, blessed are those who receive persecution, because as they persecuted me, greater persecution will you face. So it's like, Jesus himself is like, they hated me. And because you love me.
And they saw me.
Right? And because you love me, they're going to hate you more. Right?
And it's like, and you haven't seen me.
Right?
Like,
and it's like,
that's mind blowing if you think about it.
It's like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Jesus. Hold on a minute.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Why is it so hard for me? Why is it so hard? I just told you.
Yeah.
I interacted with these people, with my people, and they hated me to the point that they crucified me.
Right.
They're gonna hate you because you love me.
How much more are they gonna hate you?
So yeah.
And you haven't seen.
But
right?
you run the race, right? You endure to the end. Right?
Yeah.
You gain your crown. Right? All so that you can testify of God's grace. And dude, I'm not gonna talk for anybody else, but I've been through some stuff.
Right.
Right? Me personally, I've been through some stuff. I, by all accounts and purposes, and by all statistics, I should be 6 feet under.
Right.
Right? But by the grace of God, I'm still here. I'm 45 years old. I've got kids.
Man, you're old.
I've got a grandkid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
All that is done and was done by the grace of God.
Yep.
I'm still doing ministry, whether it's not as big as it was when I was younger, right? I still minister to people. I still pour into people. Like, people still turn to me to receive whatever it is that they receive through the Holy Spirit from me, right? And it's all only by the grace of God. Have I quit? I've quit a few times, but by the grace of God, he has forgiven me and he has allowed me to just start again, right? Have I thought about quitting now? Yes,
right.
Almost daily. But by the grace of God, he understands and he allows me and he loves me, and I continue on.
Yeah, it's almost like, really, like, it's not so much that you quit, but you just started walking, right? Like you running, because I know, like, now, like, I've started jogging a little more, right?
Sorry.
In OTF or whatever.
You can join the Atlanta Run Club.
Nope. But guess what? Like, there comes times where I get tired, right? So I have to walk, right? I have to walk to kind of catch my breath, right? To kind of catch my legs, get my legs back under me, so then I can continue to jog. And I think the problem, what we feel, it's kind of two things. We feel like if we stop running, metaphorically speaking, and we're walking, we're somehow failing. But sometimes you have to walk to catch your breath so you can keep running. What happens is that we get tired, we get cramped, and so instead of walking the cramp out, we just sit down and we quit, and we just say, "Well, this isn't me," or why did I get this cramp? I've done all this stuff. I drank all the Gatorade. I did all this stuff so I don't get the cramp, but I still got the cramp. So I'm just gonna sit down. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna give up. And I think that's where. I think that's kind of where maybe a lot of that kind of shift in our mind has to be, where it's like, look, it's you run the race. You have problems. You don't stop running. You know what? Start walking. Catch your feet under you.
Right.
Catch your breath. so that then you can pick it right back up.
And that
because
reminds me,
it does get hard sometimes.
Yeah, that reminds me of James, the guy who went to run the marathon.
Right.
Who said that he was all good and he was there and he was running, and then his quads,
right?
His quads, he pulled his quads and he pulled his hamstrings, right? Where he had to slow down,
right? And
he had to pause. Then he had to start walking, right? And then he had to bend down and try to do some stretches, whatever. But the dude never stopped.
Right.
He never stopped. Not only did he not stop, but he came in an hour and a half faster than his last marathon. And he came in 30 minutes faster than the marathon app.
Right.
Thought that he would come in. Right. So even though he started strong and all these things happened to him, right, that he could have easily quit. Like he said, I could see why people quit. I can see why people quit, right? He still finished, and he finished strong, right? And real talk, this faith walk, it's not easy. It's not for chumps, right? It's also, I'm going to use an old adage, but switch it to this, right? It's not a sprint, right?
Right.
It's a marathon. Right, it's
literally right. Literally a marathon.
Those who endure to the end. Right, Scripture is clear. Right, Paul was not mistaken. He was not mistaken when he compared this to a race, and he says, "Run your race, finish." Right, so all that to say that this guy. He started prayerfully. He finished. Right. Wasn't easy. He had complications. He had things going on, but he ran his race. And we are running our race now in the faith, and it's not going to be easy. Right. We're going to come in with some sicknesses. Right. We're going to come in with some things from our past, and it's going to try to make it a little harder.
Right.
But we got to continue our race.
And it's your race. And that's all very important, right?
Your race at your pace.
This guy wasn't running thinking, I got to keep up with the guy that won, or I got to keep up with this guy.
Yeah.
He was running saying, I gotta keep up with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we kind of within this metaphor, right, is that when we start running, but we get distracted and we start looking at other people's races. And so then we want to try to run with them. So if I'm running, for example, and then let's just say Banning, right? Jesus culture, right? Because he's a pretty well-known guy, right? I'm running my race and I see Banning, and I'm like, well, I gotta keep up with him, right? Well, what happens if I try to do that? I'm not going to be able to do it.
And you're running his race.
I'm running. Not only am I running his race, but I'm burning myself out, and then I'm ultimately going to do what? You see, God's not. Where's God? Because I'm not.
Yeah, you're blessing him, and you're not blessing me.
But that's not my race to run. And I think we got to remember that. Run your race,
right? So
don't try to run someone else's race. No, because that's what we do when we look at people and we want to be like that guy's ministry. We want to be like that guy's church. We want to be like that guy's parachurch organization. Mm-hmm. We want to be like that. No, be like you. Be your race.
Be your race. Serve your God. Well, serve God, but serve God in the way that He's placed in you. Your pace, your race. And all that to say, I think we're done, right?
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to actually have James be a guest so he can talk to us all on how to finish strong.
All right. So, hey, excuse me. I got the sniffles. As always, thanks for joining us. There's not much else to say. If you've hung out with us this long, just remember as you think this week or whenever it is that you listen to this, is that our faith walk or our faith run, it's ours and God's. Let's not get distracted by looking at what other people are doing, and let's focus on what we're doing with God. Thanks for joining us. Remember, theoverflowpodcast.com, theoverflowpodcast.com. You can go there, subscribe to the podcast, the different platforms, check out all the different information. We really appreciate you being here with us. So as always, we always like to end, I'm Joaquin.
And I'm still Jay.
And this is the Overflow Podcast. Till next week with our guest. See ya. Love you, folks.